So this is Logan Paul and Scrambling to save his
Bet
career.
you've never been this close to a celebrity before, huh? You have a prime. Yeah, go ahead and drink that.
Last time we talked about this situation, we covered how Logan Paul made a terrible response video to CoffeeZilla's 3-part series exposing the behind the scenes of the Cryptozy project. And to give you guys an idea of how bad Logan Paul's response was, he turned off the comments shortly after releasing it. But TLDR, if you didn't see that video, essentially Logan Paul spent about 7 minutes deflecting and just removing himself from any blame and even attacking the characters that CoffeeZilla interviewed and Coffee himself, with the icing on the cake being that Logan Paul threatened to sue CoffeeZilla for defamation. So if that actually happens, I'm sure this situation is going to blow up about 10 times bigger, and Discovery, that's going to be a blast. But he went on to drop a podcast titled Logan Paul Addresses Crypto Scam Allegations, Apologizes to George for Mocking Faith, because those were the two main things that Logan Paul was in hot water for. But in this video, we'll be only covering the Cryptozy aspect and just getting you guys up to date with that. What's entertaining about this podcast is it was clearly recorded before Logan Paul released that original video, so he had no idea what the response was like. Because in this podcast, he gives off the vibe that he made a great response video. So today we're going through the main points and then the aftermath of this podcast. And of course, Mike claims he's going to be giving the hard questions and play the other side, when in reality, those questions are softer than fake butter.
I'm going to try to take the reins of the opposing viewpoint today, as I generally do on the show. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions that may be, I don't know, easy, hard to answer, whatever. Why did you sign off as logs, by the way? There was a lot of for that, because I'm just curious what else there's going to be about this, like where this goes, where the story goes, once it's been determined that there was not malintent, a scam did not take place. There was a misfire or some sort of, you know, malpractice on behalf of some of the people involved in the project who will be held accountable, and there is a plan moving forward. Does it sound like those are the 4 main pillars of what's happening here? Listen, I said I'm going to play the other side.
Yeah, really playing the other side here, Mike.
While we made no money on the project, which I think kills the scam narrative immediately.
Well, you didn't, but your business partners did. Just because you got scammed doesn't mean that your audience didn't. In this case, Logan was the shepherd who brought his sheep to the wolves, and he wants to sit there like he doesn't have any blood in his hands. But guess what? It's still there.
What was your intent with Cryptozy as a project?
I really thought it was going to be the next big thing. It was my first foray into creating a project on the blockchain. My intent was to make the next Pokemon, essentially.
So you hired the guy who sold you a fake Pokemon card box to advise your Web3 Pokemon game. Something must be missing here, right? This just doesn't seem right at all. It makes me rethink if Logan actually knew he was getting fake Pokemon cards.
People seem to really discount the art, which I felt truthfully wasn't fair.
Because they were Adobe stock photos.
Yes, I know.
How hard it is to merge animals that do exist into an animal that doesn't exist and make it look like a real animal. I'm gonna ask you. I'll just say right now, bro, if you take an animal from Cryptozy and like a picture of a monkey wearing a hat and go ask like someone on the street, like, hey, which of these is more captivating to you? Something tells me the animal that doesn't exist that looks like a real hybrid animal is probably gonna win.
That doesn't change the fact that they were Adobe stock photos. They should have been animated. This is apparently a screenshot from someone's Cryptozy collection. This is abysmal. The project had a big enough budget for it to have its own art style, not Adobe stock photos morphed into each other.
That look at you like somebody they want to be like, they want to achieve like. And so when they invested in your project, remember, they don't have our lifestyle. So they're working paycheck to paycheck, paycheck to paycheck. So when they go, yeah, Logan's involved in this, I know it's going to win because I've watched this guy win. And I want to be like this guy. So I'm going to invest my hard-earned money. From their point of view, I get your guys' point of view because you're dealing with a legal team. You're dealing with all the people that did you wrong. But from their stance, they go, how dare you go and open up 2 other projects when I just wasted my hard-earned money on something that I believed you would do?
See, I feel like George is kind of getting it here. Logan isn't, though. I wish he did. But TLDR, this is Logan's response to that.
It was like a mountain that collapsed one after the other after the other. This massive forest fire would come up. I thought we put it out and then something else would happen. And then my legal team goes, yo, there is criminal investigation going on. It is best to stay silent at this moment.
I feel like you just should have been transparent about there was an ongoing investigation. This would have saved everyone a lot of a headache. Coffee probably would have still made his videos, but Logan would have a little bit more ground to stand on here.
The answer is yes, George. I'm not a scammer. I have the best intentions and I will make this right for the people who believed in me. You know how adamant I was about fixing all of this and making this right. And for a year, I was told I couldn't say anything. And then CoffeeZilla series came out, and I called you guys and I said, I'm making a statement. I don't give a
Yep.
I spent days writing this thing, figuring out how I could poke the obvious holes in CoffeeZilla's defamation and arguments and manipulation of this story, because at the end of the day, he told a story. Some of it's true, some of it's not. I don't know what to believe.
Shouldn't he just be apologizing to his fans, though, and thanking Coffee if he's learning stuff from Coffee's document series? But what's wild, though, is George made a pretty good point, and then they just cut it to Big Mike playing the other side here, just segueing the conversation away from the good point.
None of these quests would be completed without your team. And when you win, we celebrate together. What I need this team to start doing is when you guys take a dip, you gotta stop pointing the fingers at each other.
When all this broke, when we were in Qatar, I'll kind of remember this. We were in the spa one day, and I saw the pain in here. And this, like I said, this is not going to turn into a victim thing. I just want to point this out.
That's exactly what it turned into. George made a good point. They cut out the awkward silence and then just kind of cut it to, hey, Big Mike here. Let's segue to some irrelevant story to take away from that. Mike is the kind of guy you'd find staring at a carton of orange juice in the middle of the night because it has concentrate printed on it.
It's terrible.
Where Coffee f***ed up is by targeting me as some malicious, evil supervillain. If he had told this story objectively and told the story without vilifying me, regardless, we're still making this right. But in my opinion, that's where it got twisted and hurt the most.
Well, until you make it right, you're one of the villains in the story, Logan.
I want to put smiles on you guys' faces. It's why I do what I do. I love being able to come on these platforms and express myself every week. And if it hurts that mission statement that I've had since I was 8 years old posting online was tainted by this dude who had an agenda.
No, it was tainted because you created something that scammed your fans out of millions of dollars.
He just messed up by pointing the finger 100% at me and saying that there was any sort of fraud or scam taking place intentionally. Not even taking place intentionally, just taking place on my behalf.
Why did you block him on Twitter?
It's like a little gnat. It's like a little annoying gnat, and it bothers me. He won. He got to me, bro. He's the most formidable opponent I've had. I'm not kidding. The guy's good. He's very smart. He's very smart. He manipulates and twists the truth just the way he wants to get his people to believe a certain thing. He's good.
Dude, it's your project. You're accountable for what happens to it. You created the project and you promoted it to your audience. And then you had the audacity to say that Coffee didn't verify backgrounds.
Because he doesn't verify backgrounds or, like I said, substantiate any other.
Bro, what? And this is clearly turning into a massive headache for Logan, because I just noticed he also privated the comment section of his new video where he's promoting his Prime energy drink. Dude's like, oh, cheese and crackers. My shady business is now making it harder for me to promote my real business. Gee, maybe you should just apologize instead of deflect and attack back. But here we are. And as I'm recording this, we've had quite the plot twist happen. Because Coffee tweeted out, Logan called me. He said he's deleting 2 responses and he's dropping the lawsuit threats. I believe he's making a 3rd response, which I'll be delaying my video to include. Hopefully this time he takes accountability and refunds the victims of Cryptozoo. That's what matters. And apparently Logan dropped a Discord message saying, hey y'all, I just wanted to update you guys. I deleted my initial response to Coffee's series. It was rash and misaligned with the true issue at hand. So I called him today and I apologize. The war is not with Coffee. In fact, I'm grateful he brought this to light. I'll be taking accountability, apologizing, and coming forward with a plan in the near future. Thank you all for believing in this project and sticking with me. I know it's been bumpy, but your support is everything to me and I'll make this right. I mean, if only he did this from the beginning. But hey, it'll be interesting to see what his 3rd video looks like.
There's a 3rd video coming out, going to come out, I guess. So interesting to watch.